Hey, what's up guys, YouTube and I'm back here today with my APA final match against Panther at last. We did play last night. We had to postpone it for a while because Thanksgiving, and Panther went on a cruise with his family and stuff, and I've been really busy with work, so but we are finally here. We played our match last night, so it's pretty fresh in my head, and yeah, it's looking to be a really exciting game. Panther and I did play a while ago in the APA. We played earlier in the regular season, and he managed to get the win over us that game. I think I really misplayed my late game with my Bronzor and my Volibee. Nonetheless though, Panther played an amazing game himself, and he brought a really solid team that really took advantage of a lot of the mons that I brought. So I'm expecting a really strong squad this time around. For those of you guys who didn't see our original game, I'll leave the link in the description. I recommend you go and check that out, because that definitely, the kind of psychology after that game definitely factors into how we will both prep for this game. In my opinion, I know Panther's really concerned about stuff like Meowth on my team, as well as Smoochum, and you know, that's definitely going to factor into his building. Whereas from my side, stuff like Tyrunt, be it Rock Polish or Dragon Dance, is a massive threat, as well as Abra, like Life Orb Abra. If it predicts right, it's a real tough time for my team to handle. So yeah, I've constructed a team in such a way that I can prevent Tyrunt from straight up sweeping me at +2, or at, like, after a Dragon Dance, if he's Dragon Dance over Rock Polish. And yeah, that's what we're gonna rock with this week. So I'm gonna break down the team and kind of give you guys some insight into why I brought the mons I did. I don't usually do team builders, but for finals I tend to yeah, show the kind of thought process behind what I've brought, because a lot more time gets put into this. So yeah, we do have a lead budgie here. Nice poison point. Before I jump into the recording, obviously, like the team and stuff, I want to thank TheFlyingBird for genning my team, and I want to thank Panther for recording the actual video itself. And also shoutouts to Mastodon for attempting to gen my team. I think he had some errors with one of my mons, but he did try and help me out initially. So we do have Budgie, top tier boy. The concept behind Budgie is pretty obvious. Like, it's a lead sash spiker, but the important thing, like the reason why it's so important for me to get spikes up, is because his Tyrunt is such a menace with sturdy plus berry juice. Like, that thing can literally tank a hit from anything on my team. I don't have any 2-hit moves like throw chop or that dragon equivalent, and he's gonna have a really easy time setting up a Dragon Dance or a Rock Polish versus anything on my team. But if I get a hazard up and he is unable to remove the hazard, I will break his sturdy, rendering that threat potentially a lot easier to take on for my team. So that's the kind of thought process behind Budgie. Getting a spike up is really nice for a lot of mons on my team as well. Like stuff like Chinchou doesn't appreciate switching in on Volibee if a spike is up. It also really helps out stuff like Smoochum, because Smoochum, if he does bring Beldum again as his Smoochum response, that thing is taking a spike every time it comes in on a hit, and it's going to wear that thing down a lot faster. I've got Sleep Powder here to potentially put something to sleep turn 1. If he wants to lead with Larvesta, for example, which does lead well versus both my hazard setters in Bronzor and Budgie, he may potentially stay, and I can throw off a Sleep Powder and then start spiking up and getting off damage with Sludge Bomb. If I don't need to take any damage with this Budgie, I will preserve its sash, because it is a nice answer to Tyrunt if that thing does get out of control and I can't check it, or Abra. One of his offensive threats will not appreciate taking like Leaf Storms or Sludge Bombs from this Budgie. So I outspeed stuff like max speed Tyrunt, so I can 1v1 a lead Tyrunt, Sludge Bomb into Leaf Storm, Okos that without proccing, or 2 Okos that without proccing Berry Juice, and I can always Sleep Powder at turn 1 if I feel that's necessary. Obviously Fungus comes in on this pretty easily. Like, it takes nothing from Sludge Bomb if he does choose to bring it. However, that's also free spikes. Well, not free, but I also get up some spikes on that thing, and as long as I keep Budgie around as death fodder, Sandrew can't reliably spin versus me, because I can always come in, put it to sleep with Sleep Powder and get another spike up, or just threaten it with the Oko from Leaf Storm. So that is Budgie, very important one on my team, and a very safe lead on my part. So I wanted to construct this team in such a way that I always had like a safe lead, or a lead that got me the most, regardless of anything that he chose to lead with. So the next one we have here is Ricardo, my Volibee, and we are a very specially defensive set. This does help me take on Abra. I live Life Orb, Gleam. I think there's a 6.3% chance for Modest Life Orb Gleam to Oko me. I think that's the calc. But yeah, this Volibee is extremely fat. And Overcoat gives me a fantastic switch into Fungus. Those Sludge Bomb poisons factoring in rocks obviously still hurt, but yeah, this mon is amazing. Last time I brought Scarfed, and if I can sort of play this Volibee in such a way to make him think I'm Scarfed again, that could work out in my favour. But this time I'm going to be a fantastic check to Beldum. Like, Iron Heads from Beldum are going to be bouncing off, whereas last game it was a 2 KO on my Scarfed Frail Volibee. So yeah, very solid mon. I can U-turn a lot versus his team because Volibee invites in stuff like Tyrunt and Chinchou, and those things don't like getting knocked off, and they don't get like they don't like getting pivoted on with U-turn into something like Smoochum. So yeah, very, very solid Volibee. Nothing too special about this set, but certainly a reliable mon for the team to have. It also takes on stuff like Starly fairly well. Larvesta can 1v1 and stuff like Makuhita. So yeah, very, very important mon here. Then we have Tony Zazu, the Scarfed Wooper. Scarfed Wooper, kind of whack because this thing is slow as fuck and it's pretty weak, but it is strong enough to Oko stuff like non-Evi like Chinchou with Earthquake. I can surprise a Tyrunt and bop that thing with Earthquake. If Sandshrew wants to try and spin on my Wooper and he expects to be faster than me, I can bop it after a spike if he's Berry Juice with Surf or Aqua Tail depending on his spread. Surf's pretty nice though too. I think it does a little bit more to most Sandshrew sets. So yeah, this thing is really nice. It also speed ties with Modest Abra, so if he's elected to go Modest Life Orb Abra, I can potentially Oko this thing with Earthquake, which would be incredibly funny. But yeah, very nice mon. The kind of reason it's here is because it allows me a pivot into Chinchou that can outspeed the following turn. So if I come in on a Volt or a Hydra or a Scald, I can outspeed it the next turn. If he chooses to stay in attempting to take me out with Hidden Power Grass, I can just bop it with the Earthquake. Pretty interesting mon. It's not the best versus a few things on his team, like Fungus kind of hard walls it, though if Fungus is chipped and spikes are up, he can't switch in on Earthquake. And if he brings a team without Starly, he will not have a single Earthquake immunity. So yeah, Wooper could potentially put in some work, we'll have to see. But the next one we have here is my Scarf Smoochum. So we got a nice double Scarf core versus Panther. Wooper definitely being a more unorthodox Scarfer, whereas Smoochum is a far more kind of obvious Scarf bring. It does kind of struggle against Berry Juice Beldum, but that thing is pressured immensely by the rest of my team, and I have fantastic answers to that. And yeah, Scarf Smoochum functions as a really nice check to stuff like Abra. I can potentially sweep him with Psychic in the late game if I can weaken down Bronzor and handle Larvesta another way. Though Larvesta is like comfortably 2 KO'd by Psychic after a spike, even if it's a Violet. I've got Hidden Power Rock there, which does Oko Larvesta sometimes after a spike. Very important though, Shadowbow obviously to hit stuff like Abra and build him really hard. But yeah, Smoochum, one of the MVPs of the team for sure, young Smoocher, so hopefully he'll be able to come in here in the last game of the season. So then we have Aki VGC, my Spritzy. I'm bringing like almost the same set I brought to our last game, though I'm opting to bring Refresh over Psychic, which I brought last. I've got answers to Fungus in my Bronzor and my Volibee, so I don't really need to pack coverage on this, and Psychic was bouncing off that thing anyway. Refresh allows me to 1v1 Toxic defensive Larvesta, which is really important. I can burn through his Morning Suns with the combination of Wish, Protect, and Moonblast, and Refresh allows me to outstall Toxic if he does want to bring it on Larvesta. Even if he brings Toxic on 2 mons, Refresh, I believe, yeah, Refresh has enough PP to outlast 2 max PP Toxics, which is interesting. So I've got enough Spit F not to be 2 KO'd by Life Orb Abra's Psychic, which is really important. And yeah, Wish Protect is really, really useful on this thing. It does have amazing longevity and can potentially pass Wishes into a few of my other bulky offensive mons. Yeah, Spritzy doesn't really have a place as an offensive mon in this matchup. Would have loved to bring Trick Room or some kind of wild offensive set, but it's just hard checked by stuff like Fungus and Larvesta, and he's building too much to the point where like I need coverage for all of them and I need recovery. It's just far better in a defensive role this week. So the last one we have on the team, and I'd say the star of the show this week, is my Rock Polish Calm Mind double dancing Bronzor. Now Matty Bollock coming through, my man. And yeah, this is a pretty interesting set. It's really unconventional. I know a lot of people thought Bronzor was really passive at the beginning of the season. I remember a few of the people talking about it in the draft. But nah. This Bronzor is a different kind of beast. So it looks kind of odd versus his team. I don't have a way of really touching Chinchou. The Chinchou is checked by stuff like Wooper. It's chipped down by Volibee because that is one of his primary switching stat thing. It might be switching into Ice Beams from my Smoochum if I can remove his Beldum early. So yeah, that thing definitely has ways of being worn down from the rest of my team. But the kind of concept behind this is that after a Rock Polish, I outspeed everything on his team, barring his Scarfer naturally. And his potential Scarfers like Chinchou and Starly really can't do much to this Bronzor. Like it's so bulky, and I have Berry Juice. Like 25, 15, 15 is just absurd considering this thing doesn't have a Violet and it still hits those kind of numbers. And with a Berry Juice, I can afford to take hits. I am heat proof, so I will not be OHKO'd by anything Larvesta has, unless he's like banned or Z-move, I guess. But I am certainly expecting a Violet set to take on my Spritzy. So yeah, if I can weaken down his team, this Bronzor is amazing in the late game, potentially getting up a Rock Polish, allowing me to outspeed stuff like Abra. And with a Calm Mind up, I just run through his team, essentially. I can 1v1 stuff like his Beldum. I can take on Chinchou if it's weakened after a Calm Mind. I can hit him with Ancient Powers and it's chipping him down, and I'll be recovering my health back with Berry Juice. And Ancient Power here is predominantly here for the Larvesta, because if I can catch that thing on the switch and remove it, my Spritzy has a much nicer time, my Smoochum has a much nicer time, and this Bronzor itself has a much nicer time. So yeah, that is going to be the team. Very happy with the squad that I've built for it, but we're going to pause it here and jump into the match and see how it all played out. Alright guys, so we're here with a game, and as you can see, Panther opted not to bring the Fungus. He brought the Beldum instead, but apart from that, he brought the 5 that I expected. This is really good to know, because it means that Volibee's job is kind of eased in that sense. It doesn't have to switch in on Sludge Bombs, and I can use that thing purely as a Abra and Beldum check. Pivoting around with U-turn and throwing out knockoffs. So this is really nice. Whipper also has a nicer time versus his team. Though I have to be careful of clicking Earthquake if the Starly is still alive, and obviously Chinchou has Water Absorb, so that thing won't care about any Surfs or Aqua Tails that I throw off. But if I can remove either of those two, Whip is actually looking pretty nice in this game. So Bronzor obviously is the Wincon, as I mentioned earlier, as is my Scarf Smoochum. So we're going to jump into the game. I am going to lead off with Budju. That is my dedicated lead, and looking at the team that Panther brought, he has a few different options from how he could lead. He opted not to bring the Sandshrew, which is pretty amazing, and he, I guess, elected to bring the Starly over the Sandshrew, and that means that if he does have rocks, it's on his Tyrunt, which would be amazing for me, because that means that thing is automatically less of a threat. It's not a Dragon Dance, Rock Polish, or his drop coverage for Stealth Rock. So he's going to lead with the Scarf Starly and just go for the U-turn here. Fair play. If I was Eviolite, I got knocked out by Brave Bird, so U-turn was a fair play there. It also broke my potential Sash, and I'm going to throw up a Spike this turn. I didn't want to risk him going for U-turn there as I go for Sleep Powder, and I miss, and then he goes into a fast threat like Abra. I wanted to get my Spikes up, guaranteed turn 1. And right here I am going to go out into my Volibee, as he's in a tough spot because I have Spritzy, Bronzor, and Volibee in the back, and I get him here with the Volibee. This is going to allow me to U-turn out, as he's got to respect the Scarfed, and even if he is Life Orb or something like that, he can't kill Volibee if I'm a Violet. So I'm going to go for the knockoff here and remove this thing's Berry Juice, which is honestly amazing for my team, because this thing is no longer a threat at all. As I'm going to go out into my Whipper on the off chance that he went for Stone Edge instead of Rocks, expecting me to, I guess, stay in or something like that. And either way, Whipper will be able to surprise him here if he does choose to stay in, and take him out with the Ice Punch. Ice Punch also covered him going hard into the Starly there on my Earthquake. So we take out Tyrunt, probably the biggest threat to my team after Abra, and that's pretty amazing for me. So he's now going to go into his Chinchou. He's going to take a round of Spikes, which is really useful for my Bronzor and my Smoochum. I'm going to preserve my Whipper, and I'm obviously locked into Ice Punch, and that is not good. Even though Volt is like really nice play from his part, preserving my Whipper is going to be nice for me, as I can just go into Budgie here on his Volt Switch. He was either going for Volt Switch there or Hidden Power Grass if he had it. I don't think he's going to have Ice Beam in this matchup, but it's possible. This is going to give him his Starly right here, and I'm just going to sack off my Budgie, taking the Brave Bird, and yeah, Starly's going to take a bit of recoil here, which is pretty nice. this means that it's just getting closer and closer in range to Flash Cannon from Bronzor or Ancient Power. So yeah, this is going to allow me to go out right now into my Bronzor, and this is a nice spot because if I'm just a regular Berry Juice Bronzor, like defensive with rocks, he's more than likely going to want to go hard out into his Larvesta, especially if he's like a defensive Violet set. He wants to get the thing in before rocks and start applying some pressure to my team. It turns out he was actually sub Carmine Flamethrower. He sent me his team after the game, which is really interesting, so I can definitely understand him wanting to get Larvesta in before rocks. So I'm going to fire off the Ancient Power as he does switch out into Larvesta, and that thing is going to take a round of spikes, and he's not going to appreciate this Ancient Power at all. And yeah, Bronzor's looking really nice now because this damage off on Larvesta puts it in range if he does want to switch out of Ice Beam from Smooch him. But he's probably going to just stay and fire off a fire attack. But yeah, Bronzor's insane. It takes like it takes 8 damage from that attack, and is now going to kill him here with the Ancient Power. So this is amazing. I still got enough health to where I can switch in on something like Brave Bird or U-Turn from Starly and proc my Berry Juice. I can't take a Shadow Ball from this Abra, even if it isn't Life Orb. So I'm going to switch out. I'm going to go hard out into my Spritzy, as he's going to choose actually to fire off the Z move here, and I see the Psychic Z move, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, so he's Z Psychic, so this is going to be a really strong nuke, probably aimed at OHKOing my Spritzy after it comes in and takes a Psychic, but he's actually going to set up Psychic Terrain, which is really interesting. This is, I think, a really cool bring and helps him versus my Meowth's Fake Out and Feint. So if he's modest, he 2-hit KOs me in Psychic Terrain, so it's not worth wishing and protecting. It's far better that I get the Moonblast damage off, which guarantees that his Abra is in range of my Flash Cannon from Bronzor at neutral. So I'm going to Moonblast here. I get the special attack drop, but that won't be important unless he doesn't click Psychic here. And he actually clicks Gleam right here. And it's interesting because if I'd wished there, he would have not been able to take me out with Gleam. So I do protect with Spritzy just to burn through another turn of Psychic Terrain, as he is going to take me out the following turn with another Psychic. He kind of had to click that there because Gleam wouldn't have killed. And now I'm going to bring in Smoochum. And Smoochum's in a really nice spot because he's lost his Larvesta, which means that Ice Beam is a lot safer to click. But he does have his Beldum left, and I want to get that thing low. I want to get this thing chipped. Though Beldum is set up for my my Double Dance Bronzor, so that is something to keep in mind. So I'm going to click Ice Beam here as he does switch in, and he takes a decent chunk from this Ice Beam. Like, you know, that takes a lot. So he's probably a bit offensive on this set. I'm going to stay in, expecting him to make. I expect Panther to make a double here. Last time he played very aggressively with his switches. He was more than happy to make aggressive doubles to put himself back into the game, or to, you know, maintain offensive pressure, which I think he did really well last game. And based on where he's at this position in the game, considering it is finals and this is like the most important game of the season, so I felt like he would potentially make a switch out into his Abra or his Starly. Reason being, I've got such fantastic answers to Beldum in the back in the form of Bronzor, Wooper, and also my Volibee, that him staying in and clicking Iron Head doesn't gain him a lot, because like me preserving Smoochum is such an obvious play on my end. And if I am Shadow Ball, I take him out here with the Shadow Ball, like if I was bluffing to be Scarfed versus the Abra. But, you know, in worst case scenario, if he does kill me here with Iron Head, I just go into my Bronzor and I set up a Rock Polish. From there, I outspeed Abra and I OHKO with Flash Cannon. If he wants to go into Chinchou, I Calm Mind the following turn. I actually live any hit, unless he's like Life Orb at neutral, but I Calm Mind the following turn, proc my Berry Juice, and I can start wearing him down with Ancient Powers. If he goes Starly, obviously I just kill it with Ancient Power. And if he stays in with his Beldum, he just gets set up on. So I was content with losing my Smoochum here, but honestly I did expect Panther to make an aggressive switch here. So I'm going to stay in here and click Ice Beam to proc his Berry Juice. I get a crit here, but it's not going to end up mattering because his Berry Juice would have put him back to full regardless of how much damage I did. So he's going to go for the Zen Headbutt here, expecting my Wooper to come in. And that's going to do a decent amount, but it's going to leave me at a range where I can switch in on rocks one more turn. So based on the fact that I want to keep Smoochum around now that I understand he's willing to play this conservatively and not switch out into one of his threats, I'm going to go out to Volibee here. as he does choose to just go for the Iron Head. And we're at 19. It brings us down to 12, so it does 7 damage. So we're taking hits a lot better with this Volibee than we did with our Scarf Volibee we brought last game versus him. So he's gonna now go into his Chinchou, and this thing is gonna get roosted on right here as he takes another round of spikes, which is again really crucial for my Bronzor. And right here I want to click knock off with my Volibee. I know that he's not Z Chinchou, so he can't Oko me or anything like that. He's gonna go for the Hidden Power Grass, predicting my Wooper to come in, which is one of the really nice reasons as to why I wanted to bring Wooper, because it forces those mind games with his Chinchou. I've revealed that I am Scarfed Wooper, so he kind of knows it's an offensive threat in a sense, and if he loses momentum versus that thing by clicking like Volt Switch or Discharge here, he'd immediately have to be placed in a 50-50 where he has to guess between Earthquake and Ice Punch to hit his potential Starly coming in. So I'm going to get him here, and I'm going to click knock off as he does Hidden Power Grass. Discharge or anything like that wouldn't have even taken out my Volibee there, so getting that damage off is amazing, and it does remove his Eviolite, as he is going to Hidden Power Grass a second time. I just choose to Roost up, expecting him to potentially Volt Switch here, as he just goes for the Hidden Power Grass one more time. So Volibee's back at full, his Chinchou is weakened, and it's lost its Eviolite, which is really important to know. This turn I am going to go hard out into Wooper, and I am going to catch him here as he does go for the Discharge, I believe. So this is really nice. This turn I'm going to click Earthquake as opposed to predicting his Starly to come in. He does reveal to have Protect, which is a really nice bring on his part. Again, it allows him to take the Fake Out from Meowth, so I know Panther was really prepared for that Meowth in his build, which is completely fair enough. Meowth is a massive threat. But what Protect does is it allows him to scout for my Earthquake, and this will give him a switch into Starly if he chooses to make that play. But from my angle, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to stay in an Earthquake. Whilst it does give Starly a switch in, it forces him to either click U-turn here and switch something else into U-turn into Earthquake, because my Wooper won't die to U-turn, or it forces him to click Brave Bird and take a huge amount of recoil, putting him in range of an attack from my Bronzor. So if he does kill my Wooper here as well, that also allows my Bronzor in to set up a Rock Polish. So I am going to stay in and click Earthquake, as he is going to take me out with a Brave Bird, and Wooper's done its job. Chinchou is significantly weakened. It took out Tyrunt, which was a big threat, and it played some serious mind games with the Chinchou, so Wooper's really performed well, and I was glad to bring Scarf to the finals game. So I'm gonna now go into my Bronzor, as he's in a tough spot. Like, he obviously doesn't want to lose his Starly here, and that's kind of one of his best win conditions in my opinion at this point. He's going to go into his Chinchou and take another round of Spike, and I'm going to go for the Rock Polish here. So we're going to reveal the set, Rock Polish Bronzor, and we get our Speed Boost here. And this turn I'm going to Calm Mind to ensure that I'm out of range of some kind of like high roll Hydro if he does have it. Either way, Calm Mind is my best play, because he's going to proc my Berry this turn, and he's going to fire off the Discharge, and we do not get parried, which is amazing obviously for this Bronzor. And we remain at +2 speed with +1 special attack, and we are going to take him out right here with the Ancient Power. So if we were to get an Ancient Power boost here, I think we'd I think we just win on the spot. But I also kind of think we do win on the spot right here, because his Abra, we know, is in a range where Flash Cannon will take it out. He would have died to neutral Flash Cannon here, so he is going to certainly drop to a +1. And this is amazing for the rest of my team, because Abra was a big threat. Abra was definitely a big threat, and this takes a lot of pressure off Volibee to have to remain healthy for that thing. He's now going to bring his Starly here, and the kind of best thing he can go for is Final Gambit if he has it. I think that would probably do the most damage, but he's going to go for U-turn, and it's going to crit us. It did 9 damage with a crit, so I would have done about 5. No, would have done about 6 damage without the crit. But now he's going to go into his Beldum here, as I just fire off an Ancient Power. It took out his Starly from that range of health. But this thing is not going to be able to take on my Bronzor here, as Flash Cannon is doing a decent chunk at +1. That's solid damage, and he's just going to go for the Iron Head here. Even without an Eviolite, we're only taking very little from that attack, and yeah, big Bronzor coming through. If we hadn't taken that crit, I would have been able to Rock Polish up a second time versus this Beldum, as he is going to die to one more Flash Cannon. But unfortunately, with that crit, there's just no point in going for Rock Polish here, as my flash cannon will be able to take out the Beldum here, as now he's going to go into his Starly, and he will be able to, I think, revenge me here with the Brave Bird. But yeah, Beldum really put in the work. Like, I was super happy with this set. It's kind of a whack set, but it really came in clutch in this finals match. So he's gonna go for the Brave Bird, and we're gonna bring in Smoochum to revenge. That was a crit. I don't think the crit mattered, to be honest. Like, this is reckless. It might have. I'm not too sure. No, I think like the roll was like 8 damage, so I was always in range of it or something like that. But gonna go into my Smoochum here. We are gonna live. And we're going to live the Stealth Rocks, and we're going to wrap up this APA Little Cup season with Young Smoocher clicking Ice Beams. Yeah, that is going to be the finals match of the APA. Definitely a fun season. I had a lot of fun playing Little Cup in the draft format. I recommend you guys all check it out, because it's definitely a change of pace. Like, it's refreshing to play a different kind of draft meta after you've played Standard for so long. Definitely keeps it interesting, and yeah, it gave me new appreciation for the higher tiers as well, because there's a lot of kind of restrictive limitations when you're playing in Little Cup. Like, it is a ton of fun, but you can be a lot more creative, I think, with the higher tiers. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. Congrats to Panther for making it to finals. He had an incredible season, and he was the only person to beat me in the regular season as well. So that's, I guess, if you want to look at it like that, that's an achievement on his end. But yeah, he played a great game. Like, I was talking with him after the game. I would have made a lot of the same plays he did, probably. I think, like, clicking Psychic turn 1 with Abra, because, or turn 2 or whatever, because Spritzy was such a safe, conservative switch from my end. And last game I played very conservatively versus Panther, so I think Psychic was completely fair enough. The Hidden Power Grass plays with Chinchou were completely understandable too, because Whipper would have, if I'd switched in Whipper on a discharge, he would have lost a ton of offensive momentum, and he would have been placed in a 50-50 where it potentially lost one of his best offensive mons versus my team. So yeah, I really understand where Panther played, where he was coming from with his plays. I don't think he was expecting the kind of Bronzor set that I brought. I think that kind of just took him off guard. And yeah, I was stoked to see Bronzor come through the way it did, taking out Larvesta. I think this thing was the MVP of this game, to be honest. Like, it killed Starly. It didn't kill Starly. It killed Chinchou, Beldum, Larvesta, and Abra. So it killed 4 of his most powerful mons. So that's pretty great. But that's gonna be it. I hope you guys did enjoy this Little Cup season. It was definitely a lot of fun for me to bring you guys these games. Let me know what you guys thought of the season and what you guys thought of finals in the comments. I may or may not be returning to APA. It just depends on when it's going to start up, like, time-wise. But I know these guys have got a really interesting concept in mind for next season. Something I've never seen kind of discussed or talked about in the Draft League community. So yeah, definitely watch out for that. I'll let you guys know if I am going to come back to the league. But time permitting, I probably will, because they're definitely a chill group of guys, and definitely more of them that I haven't had a chance to face yet that I would like to. So that's going to be it from me. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed, and let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time.